Hello, ladies and gentlemen, viewers and subscribers all over the world. This is Oguta Daily Talk from my own corner, bringing to you this Monday morning broadcast, being the 21st of November in the year 2022. We are rounding off this month, and also the year is coming to an end. I want to use this medium and opportunity to thank all my friends, my brothers and sisters, all those ones who love what I'm doing, all those ones who never sleep, to make sure that they subscribe, to like, to comment on my channels. I say, may the Almighty Chukwu Kiabe bless the works of your hand. In times of your need, you must surely see somebody that will help you, and you must surely find a way through. There must always be a solution to every of your problems, and that is my prayers for all my fans, the Biafrans out there, both home and abroad. Both if you are, whether you are in local or you are international, my blessings and prayers go to each and every one of us. Please, without not taking much of your time, I would like to have a brief broadcast this morning. To wait for other news that may come later, because this week is fire for fire, because we are edging closer to the end of this year, and also we are edging closer to our liberation from the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, or the mistaken country called Nigeria. We are going to our destinations, and we are moving direct to our promised land. A source close to me, and I got it from a direct source in Abuja, that the United Nations is planning to invade Nigeria with every force beyond, within their means, to make sure that they free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and also grant us the independence of Biafra. This is it's a kind of rumor, but I got it from a right source. So, but I don't want to make it public or make it known to everybody. And just a quick one and that. So please. Keep up the good work. In any way you are supporting the Biafran struggle, do not give up, and continue your good work. May the Almighty bless all the works of our hands. Our hands are clean, says by IPOB. Governor Hope Uzodinma is the behind murder of Eze Oguta in Oguta local government area of Imo State, IPOB clarifies. We, the global movement and family of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, ably led by the great and the indefeatable leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, wish to disassociate IPOB and ESN from the gruesome murder of the traditional ruler of Oguta in Oguta local government area of Imo State. It is in the public domain the records of how Hope Uzodinma used his Ebubago military in the mindless massacre of many Izombe indigenes. Yes, of course, we had the news, and I haven't brought it to this my platform. The atrocities that I hope Uzodinma is perpetrating in Imo State is really getting out of hands. And I still, it bothers me much when all these things is happening, and we have a prominent Igbo man, okay, let's say a prominent Imolites, who have what it takes to stop all this, but nobody want to talk. They keep silent, simply because everybody don't want to be mentioned or to be attached in anything that got to do with IPOB. But if we actualize this dream of having the state of Biafra or IPOB, whatever we may call it, they also will be among this, or will they go on an exile? That is the question I keep asking. All these never do well sycophants, or that call themselves rich men and with influence, and the rest of them that cannot influence what is happening in Imo State, in Anambra State, and also in Enugu State. The attack is becoming unbearable. Things getting out of hand on day by day, day in, day out. People keep dying in their numbers. When I mean people dying, I mean innocent youths who supposed to be the leader of tomorrow, who supposed to be the people who will come out tomorrow to stand for this, our great Imo State, and let's say our great Eastern region. All of them are being murdered in cold blood. They keep dying in their numbers. What have we done to deserve all this ill treatment we are getting from the zoo country called Nigeria? And what is the international community doing about this? They are doing nothing. We the Biafrans, we are on our own, and we have to fight with the last drop of our blood to make sure that we get to the root of all these matters. So please, do not keep the dial. we are moving forward, because I still have a lot of things to discuss with my people. Today, the Imo vampire Hope Uzodinma has directed his murderous Ibubagu militia to eliminate an innocent traditional ruler for condemning his killing of his people and burning of their houses. Hope Uzodinma is an agent of destruction and darkness for the same people he fought himself to become their governor. He recruited notorious armed and criminal militias, including Niger Delta militants, to murder and destroy the properties of innocent civilians who doesn't support his colonization agenda in Imo State. It's unfortunate that Nigerian media do not conduct independent investigation before publishing their news report. We are aware that Hope Uzodinma regularly hosts some willing news editors for dinner to launder and promote his criminalities in the state. Hope Uzodinma should tell the world the crime committed by the traditional ruler that warranted his murder. This is what Hope Uzodinma have signed even before they granted him the winner of Imo State governorship seat. He signed it with the Fulani cabals and a close source. This one is not a rumor, a close source. BIH that Hope Uzodinma have been dissected by the so-called cabals in Emir Palace in Sokoto. They used Hope Uzodinma. So you are seeing Hope Uzodinma. Hope Uzodinma don't have anus again. They have destroyed his anus. Because that is what the Muslims are good in doing. They are good in homosexual. So they have dissected that young man, take his videos and pictures, and store it. That any day he failed to carry out the direction they give to him, they will publish it on the social media and every other part of the world. And that is why this man keep on, and each time they tell him, look at what he need to do, he will not doubt it a second. He will go ahead and be doing such. But let him be aware that there is always an expiry date to everything. If whatever he is doing today, simply because he is the governor, tomorrow he might retire from that seat, then he will face the reality of what he have done to the Imolites and to the youth of our land. This is not a warning. It is an assurance what the Imolites and the youths will do to you, Hope Uzodinma. His Royal Highness Eze Dr. Ignatius Asor of Obudawa of Oguta local government area had no problem with IPOB nor ESN. IPOB and ESN don't kill our own. We protect, we love, and we care. We cherish. Every soul matters to us. The Easterners, the Igbos, most especially, they are just like US. Yes, we are just like United States of America. We cry to lose a single soul in our land. We are not like other ones that their blood doesn't matter to them. That is how the US treats their citizens. No matter how small you are, no matter you are very, very important to them. That is the ideology of the Easterners and the Biafrans at large. So anyone that is coming to tell us that IPOB or ESN is behind all the killings and atrocities in our land, that person have to go and see a psychiatrist because he have a mental problem. We don't kill. IPOB stands for love, justice, equity, and fairness. The royal father was murdered by Hope Uzodinma's Ibubagu militia because the man asked him to stop his murderous actions against his subject, which is the Izombe youths that they keep killing each time, every time, any day. In Izombe, you barely walk on the street as a youth without not having one harassment from the militia called Ibubagu and the militia of the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. That is what we keep passing through in our own land. And the prominent men we have there, they are busy looking. Instead, they are even clapping for them and supporting them in all the atrocities they are committing in our land. But the day shall come when they will receive their payments in their own coin. If it not happen today, it will happen tomorrow. But surely it must happen. IPOB has no hand in this barbarism, and we cannot be involved in killing innocent citizens of Biafra that we are dying and going to prison to save. We commiserate with the families of the monarch and those murdered in cold blood at Obudawa in Oguta, local government area of Imo State. The command spokesperson of the police in Imo State, CSP Michael Abatam, should stop their usual public deception and proper investigate and identify the killers of his royal father instead of falsely blaming IPOB and ESN. That is, they know the game they are playing. So once something happens, they don't even need to do any investigation. They will just come out on the national TV and begin to say that IPOB and ESN is the one that do this, is the one that do that. I'm still waiting, hoping a day that something that will happen in Asor, and they will call IPOB. Because even the answers of 2020, which led to the massacre of many in Lekki Tollgate, they still call IPOB that IPOB is the engineer. They went to public debate. If they don't call IPOB, they will call a Labour Party P2B, because P2B is an origin of Igbo land. That is how they keep on making false accusations and blackmailing anyone that come from the east. Look at what happened to Rogers Okoraosa. He keep on shouting, "Oh, APC, yeah, now we get this country like this, like that." Even turning the Imo State to his own personal property, just like Tinubu did in Lagos. At a point, he thought he is a rock that can never be moved. Just close to their primaries, he called the Easterners, the Eastern governors, how they would strategize to make sure that the tickets come to the East. It's barely 24 hours after that meeting, Rogers Okorocha's house was invaded by EFCC for nothing safe, for ordinary 1.4 billion. But look at the Accountant General of the Federation. So when the federal government of 174 billion naira till today, the man is working freely, even sleeping in his house. Nobody is molesting him. If they appear in court, they will plead not guilty. Nigerians should watch out. Very soon now, when they call him now to probe him now, he will faint, and that will be the end of Solomon Grundy. And that case will be quashed under the carpet, because those that matter, they have shared the money. They have already settled the east, west. No, not east, west, north, and south. The east, now nothing for them, and the game will die. That is exactly what they are doing. Simply, this man open up, stop killing the youth of Uzodinma, which is his subject. He refused. The next one, he sent for the man's head, and they murdered the man in cold blood. The game is still going on. We are counting our losses, the Biafrans, but very soon we will count our gains as well. The game of arranging innocent people and have them to falsely claim to be IPOB members or ESN operatives so as to justify their blackmail is over. We are urging all traditional rulers and religious leaders in Biafra land to understand that there is danger and all should beef up their personal security. There is danger ahead because our enemies are relentlessly extorting and waging war against our leaders at this present time. So my good people of Biafra, this is the current and the news that I have for my people this Monday morning. So let's go straight into another news that concerns us, that we need to extract some wisdom from it and as well learn more from it concerning the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, or the mistaking of a nation called Nigeria. Malami, EFCC, DSS, police, and the CBN others move against Boko Haram, Ansaru, ISWAP, IPOB, and financiers. Where is Yoruba nation here? Oduduwa, nobody mentioned them because they are the power that be. Because of Tinubu now, they cannot mention them because all of them know the game they are playing. But very soon, they will know that the eye that cry can also see. The Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government has commenced moves to confiscate the assets of identified terrorism financiers and their associates in line with international counter-terrorism recommendations. First of all, before I go straight, we'll continue with this very news. What are the Muhammadu Buhari fighting against? Confiscating assets. Is it today? For over close to 3 years now, the United Arab Emirates brought in the names of the Boko Haram sponsors in Nigeria, and they know it. Nobody mentioned them. Nobody even called to probe them or to seize their assets. But just ordinary Ekwuremadu that have problem in the UK, now they have forfeited almost 40 of his properties. But the Boko Haram sponsors, who made Nigeria where it is, who have brought Nigeria from top to bottom, are still out there doing their normal businesses. And now you want to counter terrorism. Which counter terrorism? Which counter terrorism? Okay, now the same Muhammadu Buhari is campaigning for a drug baron, Pablo Escobar, to be the president of Nigeria. And you tell me that you are fighting corruption. Why you are the father and mother of all? Nonsense. Recall that the ECOWAS Financial Intelligence Agency, the Intergovernment Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa, had earlier in the year indicted Buhari's administration for not going after the assets of convicted terrorists. This news has been out there for over years now. It does nothing. Now, almost close to the end of your tenure. You want to it is laughable. In response to the development, the government had identified 96 financiers of terrorism, including 424 associates and supporters of the financiers, whose assets will be confiscated after the due legal process has been concluded. The Minister of Information and Culture, look at another mumu here, Lai Mohammed, disclosed in February that the intelligence agency had unmasked 123 companies and 33 bureaus de change linked with terrorism. According to the Punch, security and intelligence agency were scouting for the physical assets, including companies and bank accounts of individuals and groups indicted for terrorism in our country. Already 18 persons, entities, and companies have been added to the Nigerian sanctions list under the supervision of Nigerian Sanctions Committee, a multi-agency panel created by the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022. The groups being hunted by the federal government include the indigenous people of Biafra, Boko Haram, Islamic State, West African Province, ISWAP, and Ansarul Muslimina, Fibilidais, Sudan, the Yambandiga and the Yantaada terrorist group, and 13 persons convicted for financing Boko Haram. The 16-member Sanctions Committee is chaired by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami-San. Other members include the Ministers of Finance, Foreign Affairs and Interiors, as well as the National Security Advisor, the Director General and Department of State Service, the Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chairman Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission. Also on the committee are the Chairman and Independent Corruption Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, Representative and Chief of Defense Staff, the Director General of National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and Other Related Offences, the Director of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, and Secretary, and any other relevant person or institutions that the President may incorporate into it. Meanwhile, I said, before I continue, all these offices being mentioned, if you track this thing very well, you find out that not any single South-South or Southeast in this list. You can never find it. All is Fulanese. This is how they are running the affairs of the nation. Imagine giving enemies something to give to somebody that is not in good time with you. What do you think that will happen to that thing? You make sure that thing never get to the person that is being meant for. So let us continue with our news. All the news of all this, all this mistaking of a nation called Nigeria is always getting me upset each time I talk about it or each time I reason it. Among others, the committee has powers to formulate and provide the general policy guidelines on designations based under Section 49, 53, and 54 of the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act of 2022, and advise on the effective implementation of the United Nations Security Council resolutions related to terrorism, financing and proliferation, financing and the allied instruments of the African Unions and Economic Community of the West African States. All these people join hands together to witch hunt IPOB, and I know it very clear. The committee can recommend to the AGF appropriate sanctions, including travel ban freezing of funds, access easily, and other economic interests of persons and entities designated under United Nations Consolidation List or under the Nigerian list. According to the Punch, a massive search and freeze campaign for all the assets of terrorists and terrorism sponsors was going. Giving an update on the initiative on Thursday, a senior Justice Ministry official stated at the last sitting of the Sanctions Committee last week, we identified several assets belonging to the terrorists and their sponsors, but we have not started seizing the assets. We are working on that. We will get to court to orders to freeze and forfeit the assets. We are still looking at the companies that have terrorism financing elements. Once we have identified that, and of course investigations, we have identified those that have assets, we will then file an ex parte motions, but we have not gotten there yet. However, we have identified the assets of 6 groups, entities, and we are tracing other entities and companies owned by these people. In fact, the bulk of them were tried and convicted. All their accounts have been frozen, but we have not traced their physical assets. Those are the details we are working on. Our investigators are tracing their physical assets. The director of the Ministry of Justice revealed that 13 convicted sponsors of Boko Haram had been added to the Nigerian sanction list, a master list of all persons and institutions blacklisted for terrorism. So that is where we are going to have the news of this day to be stopped. We are going to have a rethink and a routine check on how things are being handled in the Biafra land. So, my dear people of Biafra, the lovers of freedom and the lovers of mankind, you have heard it all from the horse's mouth. How these people have indicted IPOB as one of the Boko Haram they are tracking and tracing. Why the including ISWAP also is among these names. So my question is, who is the sponsors of IPOB? Which is, there is none. IPOB is an individual entity which came together to make sure that we got what we want, to make sure that we are free from the mistaking of a country called Nigeria, to make sure that we got the exact thing that belongs to the Easterners, because the inhuman treatment we have gotten for the mistake of a country called Nigeria, it has been too much. Since the end of the Biafran War, it has been from one problem to the other, from one dehumanizing to the other, from one, a lot of things they can think of in this country, and they have been doing to us. Yet, we still remain calm, we still remain strong, and we still remain the most progressing in the history of Nigeria till death, even up till tomorrow. Even if they wipe half of Biafrans, which they cannot, the Eastern region still remain the one of the best and the most progressing in the history of Nigeria. Not minding we have no hand in any of the natural resources in the country. Not minding we have no any hand in their government officials or offices and seats which they are using to swindle the masses, which they are using to looting all the assets that belong to the masses. We don't have all that. Only what we believe is that Igbo man, and that is where we stand. Don't let an Igbo man, don't write him off, because if Igbo man enters any place that something is not happening, one day, you make sure that place is developed. Tell me, in the history of Nigeria, is there any part of the country, either from the north or from the south or from the west, that can say, boast of going in the Igbo land, I mean the whole Igbo land, the whole 5 eastern states of the Igbo land, and build a very good befitting edifice for them, either for your business, either for your living, or for whatever. But Igbo has scattered the whole Nigerians. The Igbos are the most traveled in the history of Nigeria, and wherever we enter, they must surely know that yes, an Igbo man have entered, because we go with love, we move with love, and we show love to people. We develop wherever we find ourselves. We don't. It's only a typical Igbo man will tell you Alawotu that the land is the same. It's either I build here or I build in my father's land. As long as it is land, the land are the same. That is why you find out that an Igbo man will travel and live many years from his own fatherland without not complaining. Because wherever he go, he creates love, he creates progress, and he makes people around him to prosper and love. So that is what these people have seen, and they don't want to let us to be. You are holding the seat of the government. You don't even want to include the Easterners in whatever you are doing in the government. Yet, these people said, okay, we are not interested in your oils or whatever you are doing, or your offices, your governors, your this thing. Take it all. Allow us to be in peace. You people say no. The God of thunder that will strike the Federal Zoological Republic of Nigeria is doing press up, and is coming from India. I swear to God. Enough of all this nonsense. Enough is enough. We have had enough of all this dehumanizing treatment, inhuman treatment. You deny the power, still yet it's not enough. Now we started in killing them. Important violence to the very peaceful region. As of that last year or last 2 years, simply because you people have spoiled the whole north and say that other people must be among all these crises that's rocking the nation. And I don't even blame you people. I blame the so-called our governors we have that buy the idea simply because they are forcing themselves to be what they are not. Look at Hope Uzodinma. It's somebody who came forth in the governorship election, and they use their own tanko or whatever it's being called. Said it's called Supreme Court or Appeal Court to overturn everything, because he have already made promises of killing almost all the whole Imolites. And that is what he keep doing from the first day he entered office till death. If you count number of casualties we have had in Hope Uzodinma's regime in Imo State, just come on only 4 years, you find out that millions of youths, I'm not talking about adults, millions of youths, life have been wasted along the line. And he's happy about that. Where the day of reckoning is coming. And when that happens, none of you will ever escape the wrath of the Almighty Kpai. The land that you are marching, and you say, this land will turn against you people when the time is right. Because the land is crying. The blood of the innocent that have been shed on that land is 24 hours crying. Crying for justice. And justice must surely prevail. If they don't do it, then they will know that the eye that's crying can also see. So my good people of Biafra, the lovers of freedom and the lovers of mankind, I am signing out from this very broadcast. I still have a lot of news for my fans and for my listeners, and for those ones who love and subscribe to my channel. May the Almighty Kpai bless the works of your hand and bless you whatever you touch your hand to do in this new week. I am signing out. You both have a nice day. Bye for now.